Hey everybody, today's video day. I am protected from the elements in my garage. It is a crappy day here in Seattle, windy and cold. So no ride video today, but wanted to do a video on a new upgrade for the Ducati Sport Pro 1100 Scrambler. And the upgrade is the lights. So yeah, I added the Scrambler bullet style LED lights. You can see them right there. Ordered directly from Ducati. I think they're about 150 bucks. So what I was going to do is just give you my initial impressions on them. Talk a little bit about the install. I'm not doing sort of a step-by-step install video. I don't have one. I don't have a Vanna White assistant to follow me with the camera. And frankly, it's such an easy job that I can just kind of explain how to get it done, and it's pretty easy. So that's one reason why the seat is off, and I'll tell you guys how to get the seat off on the Ducati Scrambler. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about the original lights and also the tools I use. So first, the original lights. So these are the original rear blinker lights. One, they're not LED, they're bulb. They're not very bright. They feel really cheap and plasticky. You know, they're really light. They just, frankly, I just think they're a little bit garbage. And I knew that I wanted to get better lights on the bike. I've said this a few times with this Scrambler. I'm not going to do a lot of upgrades on it. That's reserved for the original baby, the Harley. But there are some things I want to do. I mean, I replaced the exhaust. I added a Termi exhaust. And then the lights are definitely something I wanted to upgrade. And so, yeah, these are the stock lights. One thing about these lights is in terms of how they were affixed into the onto the bike. So they were here, as you can see. And here, the base is kind of rubbery. So, and I believe they did this because it's a Scrambler and they want some movement, like if you go over brush or anything like that. But frankly, this is a street bike. I mean, they call it a Scrambler, but I'm not going, if I'm going to go on dirt roads or out in the brush or anything like that, I'm going to have a dirt bike, a KTM or something like that, not this. So I really didn't need the functionality of sort of having a light that can kind of move with the brush and all that. Another thing I didn't like about it is when it was here, it almost covered up a part of the exhaust, which I thought was a weird design flaw. So I kind of wanted sort of low profile lights that were bright, but they also aesthetically would look pretty good with the exhaust there. And so I like these because they don't stick out. So yeah, these are the original OEM lights that got replaced, and I'm very happy with them. And I'll show the lights and how they look at the end of the video. So first thing, let's just talk about what tools I use. This is a really easy job. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're putting up a picture for a picture frame on your wall, and a 10, I don't know, you're installing a 131 yourself into a Harley. This is basically a 2 or a 3. It was pretty easy, and I'll tell you what was the toughest part. But in terms of tools, you need your keys, one to test out the lights, but also to take the seat off, and I'll talk about that. You'll want some red Loctite, just red Loctite, because you're going to be removing a lot of screws. I have a Klein T-handle 5/32 hex to take out some side screws that were just where the angle was. It was just easy to use a T-handle to get in there and get it out. And then I have 2 traditional hex keys here. Wera is a really good brand. I don't know, maybe German, definitely European. And I like these. They're really high quality. I like how they're color marked each one. So these are my favorite hex keys. So I used Wera hex, and you're going to need a 4 and a 5. Another thing you'll need is, or what I would recommend, is some seal removers. So these are snap-on seal removers. I mean, you don't need fancy ones. These are kind of fancy, I guess. But these were helpful to take off the light and then also to insert it on. So the way it is, the way this was installed, it was just sort of plugged in. If you look, you can see kind of the rivets. And again, this is plasticky. And so it was in here where the new lights are. And to pull it out, I was really worried that I might break the base because it's just thin plastic there. And so you have this attached to it. So at first I was trying to, maneuver it out and get it out, but I just felt I was getting a little bit too much flex with the base, and I was worried about breaking it. And this being a Ducati, if I broke something, it's probably $1 gazillion to replace. So what I did is I used these seal removers to kind of get in here and kind of work it out, and it was a lot easier. And also to put on the new lights, it was very difficult to get them in, so I used the seal remover to finagle it to fit them in. So I highly recommend seal removers because just the way they're designed, right? They're just really thin there. A lot of times they're curved, and you can kind of get in tough spaces to move things around. The instruction manual that came with the lights, garbage. Just complete garbage. It's in like 100 different languages. It's so small, the type, that you have to have bionic eyes to actually read it. I just don't understand how companies can't provide quality instructions. And then another thing is, I don't even know if these instructions even matter for the Sport Pro 1100. There are so many different Scrambler models. I don't think I saw a Sport Pro 1100 in here. They had other ones like the Desert Sled and maybe the Cafe Racer. So unfortunately, I had to kind of wing it when I did this. So step one in terms of getting on these new lights is taking off the seat, which is really easy. So to take off the seat, all you need is your key, and then underneath, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but yeah, right here, you got a little key ignition slot there, and it's easy enough. You just put the key in, you turn, and then you take the seat off. It's really simple, really easy. So you don't have to, I didn't even have to put this bike on the lift. I just it's on the kickstand, took off the seat, and I'm good to go as I have access to all the wires. Now, this is where you use the hex keys and the hex T handle that you have. And so basically this base right here is two pieces. And you can probably see some of the screws in here that are hex. I think there's about 8 of them. There's one on the side. That's the one where I used the T handle. It was just easier to spin with the T handle instead of using a traditional hex key. So you take that out, you unscrew all these screws, and then this comes off really easily. You don't have to take off the exhaust. That was one thing I was kind of worried about, is whether I'd have to take off the exhaust to take off this bracket. But no, you just loosen this all up. It gives you access to this base right here where the light is, so you can remove the OEM lights and then put on the new nice light. Another big thing to consider, and this was not in the instructions, is you actually need an adapter for these lights. So these lights are pretty universal aftermarket accessories provided by Ducati, these bullet style LED lights, but they don't fit. And so when I got it, they basically give you 2 sets of adapters to attach to your bike. And if you look at it, it's not the right shape. So let's just look at the OEM. You see the OEM lights? They have this kind of, I don't know what's the right geometry term for this, but you can just tell it's not as oval as this. And so what happened is when I started installing the original lights, I was like, this isn't fitting. There's no, groove in here to attach to the base. It's the wrong shape, etc. So I had to do some research online, and I found that you actually need an adapter. And so the adapter is right there. So here you got the light, and then you got the adapter, and it was really easy. You just put the light to the adapter. The adapter has the groove and the correct shape like this, and then you can install. So here's the part number for that. So there it is. I think it was about 15 bucks. I called, the first Ducati dealership said they had to order it, that they didn't have it in stock. And then another dealership in Linwood, Washington, about an hour north of Seattle, they did have it. So I just jumped on the Harley, went up there and grabbed it. So just remember, if you're getting these bullet style lights, then you will need the adapter. Okay, so just remember that. So you take, again, you're taking off the OEM lights, you're using the seal remover to get it out so you don't break the base here. You're removing the seat, and then in terms of wiring, it's easy peasy. Here is one of the wires from the lights. It just comes into here. And then right here is where you hook it up. So the OEM will be hooked up. You're just gonna simply, push the button there, pull it out, pull out the OEM light, then route your wires through here, plug it into your right turn signal light. Over here, you have it. Here's the wire. Now you actually can't see the connection because this is in the way. So this is the Ducati black box, and it's easy to remove. I mean, it's literally, you just grab it, pull it out. It's attached here with this kind of rubber, and that will give you access to the light wire here, or the wire that connects to this, and then you connect it, put this back on, and then you're good to go. So yeah, I mean, this isn't rocket science. I mean, this is, like I said, this is like a 2 or a 3 in terms of the complexity of this job. And you just need a few tools, nothing really fancy. You don't need a motorcycle lift, and you should be good to go. So let's turn it on so you can see the lights. Alrighty. So the lights aren't illuminated at all when you're not when you're on the brake, or if you're just just sitting there idling. On the Road Glide, my lights, these will actually be red, my turn signal lights, and then they blink red when I want to turn, but they almost always have a little red to them. I kind of wish I would have had that here with these lights just to give you more lighting, but that's okay. So let me do a turn. And there you go. Easy peasy. It's really bright, actually, considering how small it is. I mean, it's LED, and another thing, you can tell this is high quality. It's either I think it feels aluminum, but it's just beefier. It feels more. It doesn't feel as cheap as the OEM. You still have a little movement here due to the plastic base, but yeah, the light, I think, is pretty bright and works really well. So that's the right signal. And then just making sure my left signal works. Yep, and there you go. But again, they don't, you apply the brake, nothing happens. So your brake light is here. You're not getting any braking with the turn signals. So that's just, I don't, if that matters to you, something to consider. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So I'm probably gonna get similar lights for the front. Another lighting option that I'm looking at is getting a end of handlebar light. They have lights where you can put on the end, and so let's say you're turning on your blinker, it'll blink right here. The only thing is I have these Cafe Racer mirrors, so I'm not sure if I can have kind of two end attachments to the handlebars, but we'll see. I'm kind of researching that. But these lights, same thing. I just don't like them. They're cheap, they're bulb, they're not very bright. I'm not really feeling these lights as well. They actually have an adaptive headlight for the Ducati, but it's like crazy expensive. So I'm kind of gonna wait a little bit to see if there's some competition and some prices go down, but I definitely will replace these. They actually have a light that goes, it's a circular light here that you can put, and then when you do a left blinker or a right blinker, it will blink, and I'm considering it. It's on the fork, so we'll see. So yeah, again, easy job. I mean, you're taking off the seat, you're removing the OEM, you're using these very, very basic tools. Oh, one thing I should mention, because I do have the red Loctite here, is the instructions, at least as far as I can tell, don't have torque settings. And that's ridiculous. I mean, if you have a motorcycle, or you're a motorcycle manufacturing, or you're a part manufacturer, you need to have torque settings. I mean, on the Harley, every time you get something from an aftermarket company, or if you just look at the service manual for Harley, it has torque settings. I mean, I have a few electronic torque wrenches. I want everything to be done right and correct for safety reasons. And for whatever reason, the bolts that attach this to the frame of the bike and then the lights, there's no torque settings for any of the screws, which is kind of stupid. So I don't know, I might write Ducati and say, hey, do you have the torque settings, or maybe one of the service shops around here. But that was one complaint I had. So yeah, again, no riding today. It's not the greatest day today, and it's busy. It's a busy day for me. So I just wanted to do a really quick video on some new lights to show you that it's an easy job, and also to show you how it looks in case you're looking for a light upgrade to your Ducati Sport Pro 1100 Scrambler. So hope you enjoyed the video. A real quick one, real easy one, but just wanted to get something out there for those who are viewing this and subscribers. So thanks a lot. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you like the channel, please subscribe. I am going to try to do more videos. I'm just a busy guy. I got a full-time career, and I like to ride rather than record. But again, I'm going to try to do more videos because there isn't a lot of stuff out there for Ducati Sport Pro 1100s out there, even on YouTube. And so I thought this might be helpful. So thanks for watching, and until the next time.